Okay, back on Palworld today, I guess. Hello again, I am Blunty. Are you ready for a super room temperature take? They're just like hot takes and cold takes, but just so unremarkable and edgeless, they rather counterintuitively stand out. On the Palworld subreddit yesterday, someone posted, I think Palworld is going to be what PUBG was to the Battle Royale genre of games. And it has 1,500 up poops or whatever it is Reddit calls the popularity contest button. Oh, hey, have you up-pooped my video yet? You know where the like button is, right? Sometimes it flickers with white when video makers mention it these days, because YouTube use an AI to scan these videos to auto-generate captions, which is useful, but then they also use that to detect when someone says something special, like smash that like button and give it a thumbs up to make the thing sparkle and whatever, which I find just slightly creepy. But hey, have you smashed that like button? Go ahead and smash that like button. I think it only does it once per video, but anyway. The post has over 900 comments, though, on this most room temperature take of all Palworld takes that I've seen in the last couple of weeks. So let me break this down for you, because it's pretty cerebral. I'm going to need to dumb it down a little bit for you here. But what this person is saying is, hey, see this thing over here that is surprisingly popular, that no one really expected to be as popular as it is? I think other people trying to make popular products will try and emulate the popularity of this popular thing by copying what it does that is popular. Do you think so, mate? That's some amazing insight you've got there. What a clever little boy you are, Reddit user who called yourself Reddit is gay. So here he is weighing in on quantum physics and the subatomic spin of quantum bits. Oh, and here he is doing comparative genocide evaluations to try and work out if one rotting corpse in the shape of a bloated old man is better than the other bloated corpse in the shape of a slim old man. Clearly we are dealing with a mind for the ages here. I'm being slightly sardonic, but the Palworld take, the insight it takes to predict that copycat games for Palworld are coming, woohoo! First off, let's all bathe in the weapons-grade irony of claiming that other games will copy Palworld. I want you to sit with that thought for a minute. Think about all the many, many brand new ideas and innovations that Palworld has invented and brought to gaming. They've never been seen before in a video game. Now they're out there in the world, these ideas ripe for the cloning. Now I want you to think about how Mr. G thinks that PUBG started the Battle Royale trend chasing game, and PUBG is the reason it's popular. Okay, so yeah. Before we roll back to Palworld, and I will get back to Palworld, I promise you, I do want to unpack this a bit, because I have legitimately seen younger gamers especially utterly misunderstand where Battle Royale came from. And it is an interesting little story in gaming. And I am going to tell the story for a reason, because it does inform a point I'm going to make near the end of the video. So stick with me here, please. Just try and stretch out that TikTok damaged attention span to listen to what we have to chat about today, please. Firstly, the origins of the Battle Royale concept don't even come from gaming at all. It comes from a novel called Battle Royale. That's where we get the name for the genre from in the first place. Battle Royale was a Japanese published novel from like 1996 or 97 or something. I really should have double checked this before I started talking. Somewhere in the mid to late 90s, I'm sure of it. But in 2000, and I do remember that number, that's an easy one to remember, but in the year 2000, it had a film adaptation made, also called Battle Royale. It was a story around a last man standing competition where a bunch of students had to fight to the death in an ever-shrinking zone, which if you went into a prohibited area, an explosive column just blows your head right off. You die if you don't stay within the play area. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Well, it should. It inspired a lot of different movies and TV and manga and anime, and one recent one I quite liked was called Alice in Borderland. It too does nothing new at all. It's quite derivative in a lot of ways, but it is very well executed. That is a point I'm also going to come back to. Anyway, when it comes to Battle Royale ideas in games specifically, there's a lot that predate PUBG, including an extremely popular Minecraft mod called The Hunger Games, itself inspired by the 2012 movie of the same name, which itself took a lot of ideas from the original Japanese novel and movie. Even PUBG itself specifically, which came out in 2017, was, I thought, rather well known for being a spin-off of the PUBG's developer's own mod, which he created for a game called Arma 2, and the mod itself was a mod of a mod called DayZ, becoming DayZ Battle Royale, again named directly after the Japanese novel and movie. Nobody involved here is hiding where the inspiration came from. After a bit, H1Z1 came along. They licensed the Battle Royale idea from the DayZ Battle Royale and PUBG model, which I don't know how that works. I'm not a lawyer, but the whole concept of it's not his idea to license out in the first place. He even named it after where he got the idea from, so whatever. But PUBG itself, when it finally came out, was just a standalone version of what was already popular as a mod in several other games, including game mods that the developer of PUBG was responsible for making in the first place, and none of it would exist as a concept at all as we know it without that original Japanese novel and the structure it used for its deathmatch premise. And of course, deathmatches as a concept are not new, and they predate, the Battle Royale idea by, eons. Now, back to Palworld and the inevitable copycatting of its own copycatting. The Reddit user is, of course, right, as dull as an idea as it is to make a post about it as if you had just figured it out all in your genius brain head. Just like PUBG was not a new thing itself, the way it executed the old things was attractive to people, and it was sticky. Once people tried it, and it grabbed hold of them, and the snowball started. It was getting popular so fast, so more people decided to check it out and see what all the fuss was about. Some of them got stuck to it because they found it a fun idea, and some didn't, move on to other games, whatever, that's the way of things. But overall, the player base grew, and grew quite quickly. And even though, and in spite of, PUBG's technical issues, its bugginess, its lack of polish, its clumsiness, it was very, very successful. And upon seeing this success, of course, made other developers say, hey, people like this game idea that these guys are doing. What if we did it, but made it a much more polished and attractive experience? Surely we could steal these players away from that if we made it like that, but just a little bit better. And so lots of developers and modders tried that. And then Epic Games, who were working on a rather less than spectacular and rather uninspired survival crafting zombie game called Fortnite, decided to mod it into their own game and make it a sort of a spin-off mode. And they tried to use it as a way to get people into playing their real game they were developing. This Battle Royale mode they modded in to the game was just bait. They wanted to get people in on the free-to-play thing and then get them to pay for the real game they were making. They called it Fortnite. Didn't quite work out the way they planned, but I don't think they're going to whine about it because they're making money, and way more money than they probably would have made with the original concept of the idea anyway. They sucked down big chunks of the PUBG player base and a bunch of idiot children along with it, attracted by its high visual polish and bright colours and the fact it actually ran properly, unlike PUBG's clanking mess. And of course the bandwagon riding, hype train jumping streamers who helped make it popular. Oh my god, sorry, I did say back to Palworld, didn't I? And then I just went straight back to the Battle Royale stuff. Back to Palworld for serious this time, really, really. Palworld from here on in, I promise. I'm going to be honest here. I absolutely didn't have the patience to read through every comment on this 900 plus comment thread. I mean, Reddit anyway, it's full of such absolute basic bitch takes that your average 6-year-old could outthink them. But I did catch on one as I was scrolling through that does make a point that I was planning to make anyway, and does so quite clearly. From someone calling themselves Drock for Vu. Hardly anyone gets the survival genre right, regardless of their status of AAA or indie dev. There are hundreds of survival games on Steam as a collective. We could probably name like 10 of them. The vast majority of them die in early access and are unsuccessful releases that fade into obscurity and non-support from their developers. It's just a tough genre to get right. It's a lot harder to create an experience that lets gamers have unlimited freedom and have fun playing the same game dozens of different ways than it is to create a game that at least has some level of railroad progression. Now, of course, what he's getting at there is why we call a lot of these games sandbox survival crafting games, because they are an open sandbox. When you're a kid, you walk into a sandbox, you build whatever the bloody hell you like. A castle, a village, you bury yourself up to your neck, whatever. But you go back the next day and you do the same thing over again and try and do it better, or you do something completely different. It's just sand. You can do whatever you want with it. It's like Lego. You can do whatever you want with it. You can follow the instructions, or you can just use your imagination. And that's why when Minecraft came out, a lot of people would make the comparison, well, it's like a video game, but Lego. It wasn't accurate, but it was close enough for most people to get the concept. But the commenter is absolutely right, of course. I've played a bunch of these early access survival games over the years. A bunch of them I've streamed live over on Twitch because, well, it's kind of fun to just go into these games blind and just learn by doing your way through them. Because, you know, they're early access, which almost always means incomplete mechanics and no tutorial, so you just bumble your way through with, oh, hey, I wonder if I can do this. Nope, that didn't work. I wonder if I can do this. Oh, bloody hell, what did that do? It's fun. Do you know what the pattern has been? After trying a whole bunch of them over years and years and years, none of them broke out into success, not big success. And very, very, very few of them even made it out of early access at all, as the devs lost their drive or ran out of funding or had better ideas they hoped would be more successful or just kind of gave up. Too hard, can't do it. Game development is real hard, man. It needs a mix of creativity and invention and intuition and a very high level of technical skill on top of that. And getting that mix right in a team can be real tricky because those are very polar opposite things. Pure creativity and technical expertise. The Venn diagram for that one doesn't overlap very heavily all of the time for most people. And Palworld have, either through good management or pure blind luck, whatever, landed on a recipe that has worked. The right people in the right team with the right ideas that resonated with people, the players, and executed in a way that engaged the players when they decided to try it out. Palworld is a long way from a perfect game, a long, long way. It's not even finished yet, for crying out loud. And a lot of what it does, in fact, everything it does, other games have done before them, sometimes better. But no game has had this recipe. Because here's the thing about all this. You can give 20 different people access to a kitchen and pantry stocked identically. Everyone has exactly the same ingredients. And you ask these 20 people to make you a cake. And you will get a bunch of different cakes baked. Because it's not about the ingredients you have available. It's about how skilled you are and how creative you can be while using the exact same pantry of ingredients as other people have. And even though Palworld uses commonly available ingredients that everyone has in their pantry, the way in which they cooked their cake has resulted in a cake people are enjoying. It's a good cake. And when you have a good cake, you're going, hey, have you tried the cake from this place? It's really good cake. So, is Palworld the PUBG of this type of game? No, it's not. Palworld is what came after PUBG, because crafting survival games and monster collecting games have already been extremely high profile and very, very popular and highly refined for a very long time now. Palworld is closer to Fortnite, really, if anything. Do I think it's going to be as popular as Fortnite? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. But one of two things is going to happen next from here. Either a AAA dev with way more resources and money than this little indie developer has available to them will just pitch the idea and make an even more polished and complete game on the back of what Palworld has done and have the marketing budget behind them to really push it out there. Or the Palworld devs will just be acquired by a larger company and folded into the big monster before they eventually get shut down and the game gets made worse. Hi Minecraft, how you doing? Oh, not so well? People don't care about you anymore? What happened? Oh, there is, of course, a chance they'll try to stay independent and grow the game large and fast enough without collapsing under their own weight of success. Apparently, it's already costing them $6 million to just keep the servers turned on, and we're not even a month into the game, for crying out loud, so it's not an insignificant challenge. So yes, while like PUBG, I think Palworld will endure long term. People are still playing PUBG, mostly on mobile and mostly not in the West, but they're still playing it. I also suspect something else will come along to overshadow it, now that it has been very clearly demonstrated how a survival crafting game can break out in today's post-Minecraft burnout world. Because Minecraft was very, very popular for like a decade, then everyone got really burned out on it because, well, it was mishandled. But Subnautica and Valheim and Rust and Ark Survival Evolved and Sons of the Forest and Terraria and Conan Exiles and Astroneer and so many more have all done okay. Some are even beloved, but none of them have quite had the mainstream breakout exposure that Palworld seems to have stumbled backwards into. And Palworld is special because it seems to have introduced a lot of people to this subgenre of game. I see so many people playing it that seem to have no idea at all about some of the most basic concepts of survival crafting games. Things that those of us who have played a few of them before seem to just, we take them for granted. We don't even think about it. We just do it. It's been amazing watching people discover why this subgenre of game has endured for so long now, and that Minecraft was so shallow by comparison to what else these games are capable of doing. Now, personally, I hope the Palworld devs get funding. They just get support. They get investors, but are also allowed to remain under their own power. That would be my ideal situation, I think. I would love to see what they're able to do when they've got enough support behind them so they can just focus on making the game and not just keeping the servers alive, and not be answerable to a corporate overlord. But I also look forward to a more mainstream spotlight on these types of survival sandbox crafting games and what other genres bandwagon hopping developers try to mix it with. Because mixing it with Pokemon is a pretty good idea. And rather frustrating, like 80% of the other survival sandbox games are all some sort of horror thing. And I don't like horror. I don't care about horror. I don't like the aesthetic of it. I don't like jump scares. They're tedious and boring. But what other genres could this survival crafting sandbox stuff be mixed in with and be made great? What can the other cooks do with the same ingredients? That's what I'm excited about. That's one of the reasons I'm so excited that Palworld has had the remarkable success that it has at this point, because it does mean people are going to be trying new things again. And as a gamer, that makes me very enthusiastic about all of it. So, that's what I have to say. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you as always to the patrons scrolling up above there. I do appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you for making it to the end of this long, rambling video. I hope you found it interesting. I personally find the PUBG story and, the Battle Royale thing kind of interesting, and a surprising amount of people just have no idea about it. Is it useful information? Not really. It's interesting though, right? 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 Please tell me it's interesting. Please?